Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your SmackDown post show for January 5th of 2024, the first SmackDown of the new year. You've got me, you've got Alex Cardoza, and just like the end of SmackDown, you got the Tribal Chief coming in here, all right, to ruin what was perfectly a good thing going. He's going to come in, he's going to disrupt everything. But before we start to ask Sean some questions and let him tell you about some news and some updates, we're going to ask you guys to leave a thumbs up on this video, please. We'll also ask you to get in your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com. And we'll ask you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, which Sean's going to tell you about some of the awesome news that already went up this week. We saw Deonna Purrazzo debut. Obviously, tons of Mercedes Moné updates going up there. We don't have anything concrete yet, despite what everybody loves to make up on the internet, and so much more. 2024, a huge contract year, as we know. Sean, I'm sick. You got a little throat thing going on. We're gonna make it through, though. We're gonna get there. How you doing tonight, dude?
Doing all right. I said right before we went on the air, something just kind of popped in my throat. It's been sore for a few days, so we'll do this segment and I'll see what the hell's wrong. But get your super chats in, get your humper chats in. I'm going to hang around here for a few minutes. But yeah, AOP returned tonight. We had reported a year ago that they were on WWE's radar. Well, it's a good thing they were, because they were already signed at that point. And we were told and reported this on FightfulSelect.com that bringing in Paul Ellering was a very important part to them, because they wanted to sort of pay him back for a lot of the things that he had done for them. And yeah, I mean, I think that's good on them. They, like I said, that WES show had them with some heat on them for how that all went down, and hopefully that's all good. Sir Brendo wanted my thoughts on this. Any thoughts on Taker's Patreon setup? I haven't watched it in about a month. I have enjoyed his shows. I wish there was a little more direction to them, but I do enjoy his shows. I think they're pretty good, honestly. Like his one-man show is wonderful. It's really, really good. Like it's a phenomenal watch. I would encourage anybody to go there and check it out. But tonight also, Vancouver, highest grossing WWE event ever in Vancouver. That was a good one. We also reported on Fightful Select ahead of the show that Tyler Bate was going to debut. At least those that I spoke to within WWE implied that we would see more of him in the future. I didn't get a straight yes or no regarding, is this a main roster call-up, anything like that. But I was told we would likely see more of him. Gable Steveson, Fightful Select, reported that he did a dark match ahead of SmackDown tonight. So I don't know how things will have changed under Triple H, but last year when Cameron Grimes got called up, the way that I found out was that he worked a SmackDown dark match. And when I asked if he got called up, I was told, well, we don't have NXT talent on SmackDown dark matches. Gable is probably a different situation, though. A little bit of a different situation.
Sure. So Tyler Bate, of course, being the surprise partner for Butch, formerly of British Strong Style, did some really, really great work under the NXT UK brands. I've gotten to see a lot of his work covering NXT, and he's a fantastic talent. Not a ton of reaction today. It was kind of a quiet crowd today. I think people probably warm up a little bit, and I thought commentary actually was great at putting over their history together, which was really refreshing to hear and see both in WWE and out.
Oh, and Kate is gone. Big shocker. Big surprise. And
2024.
Welcome to 2024. While Kate does such a thing, we'll tell you what Kate should be using. Hold on, wait, where is she? Is she here yet? There she is.
Hey, what the heck, man?
No. Wow.
I was about to segue into a read to kill some time for you, but here you are.
You're kicking me off when I get to talk about it.
I can't even remember what I was, or what you were talking about. My God,
we were talking about
commentary team
putting over the history between the two of them. I thought they did a really good job, and I love Tyler Bate, so I'm hoping he sticks around more. There is a lot of contract news just coming up in 2024 in general, Sean. You have said that it's going to be a crazier year than 2023, maybe 2022. I don't know if we're going to get that much crazier than 2022 just because the pure insanity. But contract-wise, it certainly sounds like we are.
Yeah, I think we are contract-wise.
Yeah, anything outside of the obvious Mercedes one that you want to hint at? I know you've mentioned Sheamus and Drew. That's been reported already.
Sheamus is interesting because I don't know how much time they'll add due to injury or anything like that, or if out of respect to him, they won't. Drew, I haven't heard of any progress yet. The Mercedes news is going to... I don't know if it'll hit a snag or anything, or if there'll be a slow of information, because I don't know how exactly that will be rolled out. But there's going to be a lot of New Japan contract info coming up very soon, especially on Fightful Select. We released a lot of news on the Julia situation, because there were rumors that she was supposed to, or that there was a plan for her to face Mercedes like in early January, and New Japan said no, like that was pretty clear that wouldn't be able to happen a long time ago due to Mercedes' injury. So there was also a report that Julia might take some time off and work on English a little more, and a WWE source said she speaks better English than a lot of the people that read your posts by the looks of it, which got a nice pop out of me.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I 20 on that for sure.
I thought that it became pretty clear what Julia was going to do. We had reported on Select today she has not got a rep yet, and I know that a lot of reps are angling for her, because why wouldn't they? She is very clearly going to be a big money maker. We're going to have a lot of New Japan news. We are looking into the WWE and other companies in Japan news as well, but there's just so much going on, and I thought they did a really good job of pacing this show tonight with a top contender match, a return, a women's title match, a debut, and then another top contender match that led to a world title match at the Royal Rumble. I'm very interested in the Royal Rumble because Roman almost always main events the shows he's on. And to me, I don't know how that match could main event over a men or women's Royal Rumble, at least at this stage. So I thought that was pretty well set up. I thought the wrestling was really good. I think Bayley Chelsea Green is the post-show dark match, for those wondering. I know that Ivy Nile and Rhea were supposed to be around, so probably them as well. But I thought that the show ended up pretty well. It had some newsworthy stuff that justified the New Year's Revolution tag.
So in other contract news, we know that Andrade finished up in AEW and is likely headed to WWE. He was not the surprise on Tuesday. He didn't show up on Monday, and he didn't show up today. Is this just he had a match on Saturday in AEW and maybe he's taking a minute in between? Do you anticipate him being more of a Royal Rumble surprise? Any thoughts on Andrade?
So I don't know if pen's to paper there, but I mean, he told people in WWE that he was leaving or AEW that he was leaving and going there. I've got a lot more news on that on FightfulSelect.com coming up soon too. But I mean, everybody in WWE was expecting it too. It's funny because the way that the day one Mercedes Andrade news snowballed, there were people in AEW that thought that the champion that was being referred to for Monday was Andrade. And I was like, no, the way that it was being discussed in the company was they were saying it as if it was something that needed protected. And obviously, if he was still under an AEW deal, that would be protected. But they would not have come out and confirmed it via Triple H had it been Andrade, because he was still under an AEW contract at that point. But yeah, I had heard nothing about him appearing on Raw, NXT, SmackDown. I think considering the cast and crew on SmackDown with the LWO integration, Rey Mysterio and the like, it would make sense to insert him into that. But also, they did that with Carlito, and he's just kind of been floating around and just existing out in the world for a little while. So I wouldn't mind them just making sure they got something for him to do. Also, I mean, guy's wife just had surgery, so maybe he's taking care of her for a little while too. I would imagine that's something that is on their minds as well, because Charlotte is a big investment for them.
Absolutely. And we've got a couple more super chats that we're going to get to in just a minute. But just for fun, let's create some clarity around here. Sean, I'm
Mm.
going to do some of the work for you, and you can just say,
Please.
yes, Kate, you got the timeline right on that one, or you can say, no, Kate, let me interject. All right, so you had Mercedes versus Willow Nightingale. Mercedes goes down with a serious ankle injury. Later in the summer, I believe around August, you had heard that there were talks between AEW and Mercedes Moné, and those plans fell apart. Triple H takes over full-time in WWE. You had also heard that there were talks between Mercedes Moné and WWE. And then very recently you heard that those plans fell apart and AEW re-engaged Mercedes Moné and she's expected to go there. Expected to go there meaning sounds like she's planning on going there, but you don't have confirmation that a contract was signed. And despite what everybody wants to think, self-included, you are not Miss Cleo and you can't see into the future.
Yeah.
So you don't know what a debut is expected. Does that timeline sound right?
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if she and AEW ever disengaged talks. I just know that the once working plans were no longer working plans. And I mean, if New Japan is to be believed, well, she might not have even been able to do that anyway for a while. But WWE was quick to confirm that news to me, which led me to believe immediately, well, why would they tell me that? You know, for all the people that say, well, don't you think they just feed you BS? Well, there's also reasons that they're very forward about some information too. Like, I ain't new. This isn't new to me. Like, I'm very clear that they did that for a reason. And contrary to what people think, it's not, they're trying to work you, Sean. That's just not the thing. She's not planned for the Rumble. She's not planned for WWE right now. And she's actively been in talks with AEW and expected to go there. Now, I hear the word imminently used a lot. WWE sources said that they believed she would sign somewhere or appear somewhere imminently. I don't know if she'd be able to. I don't know if that would be a thing. Like if she's, I don't know how she is physically. I'm not aware. I'm not her doctor or anything like that. But
why aren't you her doctor?
I should be. And it's so weird because I'll see people that'll almost try to bait me. They're like, oh, so you're saying 100%? Like, why do you think that like me magically saying that automatically makes her sign the contract or not? Like, that's just not the way that it works. And I'm really confused as to why people want irresponsibility. And I saw a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't report it till you know. Buddy, the best NBA reporter on the planet. Whoa, Shams. You saw even Chris Haynes. They have all used that terminology this week in reporting stories. So, listen, she's expected to go there. That's the plan. Unless something big happens, it's AEW. That's the reality of the situation. And I know there was a report by Mike Johnson today that it sort of clouded up the timeline, but he outright said that his update was as of around Christmas week. Our update was right before New Year's. And then I followed up with WWE and they said, correct, nothing has changed. I understand there's a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about regarding the CM Punk situation, in which Punk and Triple H both confirmed our timeline of reporting. Reps didn't know. Talent didn't know. People in the company, board members of TKO did not know that. The most that we knew was a week beforehand, a Triple H and CM Punk had a talk. And by Friday, if you go back and look at our FAQ, we were like, listen, he's trying to mend fences. It's not impossible. But then when he showed up, that's when we said, hey, old dude is backstage. They cleared out an area. So I think there's like a lot of people that think that for some reason the relationship of WWE with media is like, oh, they're going to lie. They're going to work them type of thing. No, they very clearly will keep things secret. Like Triple H was not going to tell us that CM Punk was going to be there. But also, he's not going to tell media specifically he's not because, well, guess what happens when they want us to tweet about Money in the Bank or the on sale? We tell them to get fucked. That's just the nature of the situation. So this isn't a situation where WWE would be like, hey, we are not in talks with Mercedes. I know they were no longer in talks with Mercedes at that point.
Right, and they do have an interest in putting it out there so that their fans would know that they made an effort, right? That certainly makes a lot of sense. Let's get to your super chats and humper chats because man, we could talk about Mercedes forever. She's like our little lady CM Punk as far as discourse and engagement, but KE775 saying 2 non-Rumble matches so far on SmackDown side. How many more non-Rumble matches do you expect from the Raw and SmackDown side? I'm assuming you mean for the Royal Rumble card, what that card might look to be?
I think it'll be like a 5-match card per usual.
Do you think we'll see the IC title on there?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Gunther's the best, man. I want him on there, but I get it. 2 Rumble matches are long. Let's just hope that that they're good ones. Let's hope that they're good ones. Some more super chats and humper chats coming in from you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Rock Hard Joel Wood saying fatal 4-way at the Rumble. Buddy, I'm starting to think Roman isn't going into WrestleMania as champion. Now, I've got to think otherwise because as much as the Australian Tourism Board would love The Rock, and I'm sure they would, I don't think you're going to have The Rock Roman happen at like 7 in the morning American time, or I think it's like 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. is when that pay-per-view is happening. But a fatal 4-way would be extremely protected. I just don't see one of those guys being the next title holder and Roman losing in that way. Any thoughts on the possibility of Roman losing before WrestleMania?
If he did, it should be to Cody. Like, I don't get why anybody is saying, well, it should be Randy, and then Randy faces Cody. Well, no. Just have Cody beat him. That's it. Cody wins Money in the Bank. Cody beats Roman Reigns. There you go. If you have to do a situation where Roman Reigns loses the title, why would you have a transitional champion? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, to end Roman's reign, that doesn't make a ton of sense for me. Will, always so generous to us, saying, guys, I don't know what Eunice just 2024. 2024 is going to be as crazy as 2023 and 2022 were at least. But do you think we see Naomi in the Rumble, Sean? I know you had some news on that, I believe.
Yeah, it was confirmed or backed up by Observer and PW Insider. She is expected to go to WWE. That is the working plan as of now. I don't know if she's finishing up this weekend or another set of tapings, but she is expected to go there. I have heard the Royal Rumble tossed around, but, I have to put the qualifier. You never know until it happens because people will get friggin' psychotic if you don't say that beforehand.
Of course.
And even if you do, they'll be like, oh, you're backtracking now, buddy.
It's so weird being on here not having read Fightful Select because I've been sick all week. Normally, I know what you have covered, and I've seen some things go up, but normally I'm more on top of it than this. Joel Wood also saying, within 2 years, I think the 2 biggest women's wrestlers in the business will be Julia and Jade Cargill. Now, there are a lot of wrestling stars right now that are women, and it's not like women's wrestling stars. And what's interesting right now is so much of the free agent market specifically is women's wrestlers. Mercedes, Julia, Trinity/Naomi, Camille. I think you're going to see a rise of a lot more. I have eyes on some international women that are just absolutely killing it. Stephanie Vacura, who's going to be at Battle in the Valley. Delta in Australia. There's so many incredible women's wrestlers right now on the free agent market. But do you remember a time when it was mostly a dominant women's free agent market? Because I don't remember it being like this, where the biggest names out there just happen to be women's wrestlers.
No. And even then, like, Becky is up this year too. Like, there's so many big names.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like your booking, but I don't see it happening. Cody wins Rumble, says he doesn't want to wait. Goes Cena 2008 and he uses his shot in Australia. I can't imagine them not doing it on their own biggest stage. Any thoughts on that?
I would just assume him win Money in the Bank from Damian Priest and do it then. But it's a good problem for them to have, but it's still like, what the hell are you doing?
Agreed. Kim Gray saying, did LA Knight get busted open hard way tonight? I was wondering this one myself. I assumed it because they don't usually do like gimmicky busted open stuff, but it was late enough in the night that they could probably get away with it.
That's what I was told. I don't, I'm going to check in on it, but I was told he's all right as well.
Good. That's the more important thing. Some more chats that came in. John Taylor saying, how was backstage reaction this Wednesday's Dynamite? Should we expect Dynamite to have more of that presentation going forward? Now, before I throw it over to you, Sean, I will say that on the media call before the pay-per-view this weekend, Tony Khan was really adamant about how well the C2 had performed, the Continental Classic had performed, and that sports-based presentation going forward. He had said that the experiment had kind of paid off and it worked, and that they would be kind of leading with that. I thought Wednesday was a really nice blend of kind of everything in that regard. Christian Cage doesn't feel sports-based, but people also need to realize that like sports-based doesn't mean sports Bible, right? Like not everything has to feel like so super sportsy, but rooted kind of in that style as they started out with it. It feels like they might be returning to. Tony Khan has said as much that we'll be getting more of that moving forward. Have you heard anything on that?
I've not necessarily, no. Gotcha.
All right. Got, I think, one or two more here. Unfortunately, Josh, you said another $2 for, excuse me, for your Trinity Camille Julia Monet question. I didn't see that question, so apologies. But I'm going to assume it's where all of them might end up. I'm going to say Trinity back in WWE, Camille NXT, Julia in WWE, and Mercedes in AEW.
Yep, I would completely agree with that.
Awesome. Well, Sean, that's what we have here. Anything that you want to leave us with?
Fightful Select. We're going to have a lot of New Japan news this weekend, contract news as well, news from SmackDown, and hopefully my esophagus isn't completely ripped right now.
Let's hope that to be the number one priority. Man, we are an injured little roster here at Fightful, but we're going to make it through. The Clark Connors news went up this week as well, speaking of New Japan news, so go check that out. He's a fantastic talent, and plenty more on the way from New Japan. Lot of free agency moving along in 2024. One last one for Bad Robot saying, before SRS goes, I'm curious who he thinks has the best drop toe hold in the business. I'm going to say it's this indie guy named
I'm going to say, unironically, me. I'm not joking. I've got a great goddamn drop toe hold. It's beautiful. You maintain wrist control. You drag them down. Then when you land the drop toe hold, you can go into a hammer lock. You can put them in a straight jacket hold. You can do any number of things. Double wrist lock. You can grab a front chancery, or you can do this little pose and get them really pissed off at you.
Sean, if you're going to give away that much information about how advantageous it is, save those for like the $20 super chats. But I got to agree. I saw Okada doing to Mikey Nichols at New Year's Dash. You know what Mikey Nichols did? Got out of it because Okada didn't maintain wrist control. So I think the only logical conclusion is that Sean's a better wrestler than Okada. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
That's my own personal scoop. I don't know. But Sean, thank you for joining us. Go rest your esophagus, please. And stay tuned to FightfulSelect.com. Hey, you guys want to talk about SmackDown?
SmackDown was on tonight?
SmackDown was on tonight. We are going to get into it. But before we do, Alex, barely got to say hi to you. How you doing over there? How was your holiday?
I'm good, man. Holiday was great. Missed you. Was it last week? No, the week before.
Yeah.
When I was with Alex last week, SmackDown decided to take a break on us, so
they did.
Had to just scamper around and figure out something to do.
I know it was weird.
I just sat here at my desk for an hour and a half.
Just like, where's Kate? When's she gonna come on here and ask me any questions?
I was literally in this same stream. I used the same link. I was just sitting here, like,
just sitting.
I'll just
here, waiting by the phone for me.
I might as well clock in.
That's right. That's right. Well, I am here to say that wrestling is for everyone. Fightful is for everyone. We are gonna get into it, but guys, Sean is now gone. But feel free to get in those super chats and humper chats to talk about all things SmackDown tonight. I am a little on the sick side still, so bear with me as we make our way through things. My hair is also bailing on me. What kind of hair clip
Jesus,
do I
what is
even have
happening?
in?
Your internet, your
Falling
hair.
apart over here, but
I'm
we
gonna hold
actually
this show
had.
together for everyone.
I know you're gonna have to. The pressure is on you. The pressure's on you. But very big week of wrestling. A lot of pressure on the SmackDown to pull through because we had a great Dynamite. I watched Wrestle Kingdom. I watched New Year's Dash. I was like, come on, SmackDown, close out the week strong. And I really, really thought that they did. I really, really liked what we got tonight. And part of it, we're going to talk about this opening match, but it was really in-ring focused. I am an in-ring gal. Like, that is for me. So to see these long matches with stakes, we got a really fun debut from one of my favorites. This was a very Kate-heavy episode of SmackDown. I thought it was really refreshing. The pacing was really good, which was nice to see. Didn't love how the main event ended, but other than that, I thought we had a nice little episode today. What did you think?
I agree. Besides the crowd also kind of sitting on their hands a couple times where it just felt a little weird. Someone mentioned to me, it sounded like there was more white noise than there was audience participation, especially in the debuts. I was like thinking people were, I'm a big AOP fan, and I thought maybe others would too. But Jerry Lawler did name Canada Bizarro World, so if anyone remembers that far. But I mean, I think they did good. I thought it was a perfect episode to end the week. It did not feel rematchy, and it did not feel like I had to sit through something I didn't want to watch.
And I will say, I feel like this is probably going to be the truest test of Triple H's booking, because I said it last time he took over. I was like, he gets a year to me to rearrange the pieces on his chessboard the way that he wants them and to pull that chessboard together of free agents, etc. Right? That's you got to give some realistic leadway. Then Vince took back over, so my timeline had to change. I feel like this is a good sample size of what we've gotten from Triple H. This is his first actual proper WrestleMania season that he's going to get to book something. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like we're off and running to a good start. I feel like, and credit to SP3 from True Heel Heat, and who's often on here and saved my butt on the ROH SmackDown, or the ROH post show yesterday, rather, because I had to call out. He said it almost felt like Triple H had ideas of what he wanted to do at WrestleMania, and that he said to reverse engineer getting this stuff together. And I couldn't agree more with that. I really thought that was a pretty inspired way of thinking, because it did feel more like we were reverse engineering the endpoints. Now you throw CM Punk in the mix, things are looking a little different, but I am looking forward to it in general. So let's dive in. I will say, you and I are not really big Logan Paul fans. Oh, I'm sorry. We started off with the video recap of The Rock's return. Guess what, guys? The Rock is back. If you've been living under a Dwayne, The Rock is back. They show him pulling up in his SUV, and we get Roman Reigns stepping out of it, who's met by Kayla Braxton. There was a weird microphone glitch situation, so I'm not fully sure what she said, but Roman just laughed and walked away. I'm sure it was something like, your thoughts on The Rock saying that he wants to be at the head of the table, because that was what he did on Twitter. He just put out a laugh emoji, and I thought that was a really fun way to go about stuff. But diving into our first match, Logan Paul's on commentary. Excuse me. Objectively, even though you and I aren't fans, not his best work. He was way better on commentary last time he was on. There were some rough things on commentary tonight. Him saying Stone Cold called, he wants his finisher back. Like, nah, the fact that Stone Cold gave Kevin Owens his finisher is the coolest thing in the world. Sorry.
And just the insults. It's just,
they're very high school playgroundy, which I think is him trying to be a heel and get under your skin with stuff.
I know.
But I more just roll my eyes. And him being like, you're a Canadian and thought you could have my US championship. Like,
yeah,
it did. He had the US title in 2017. So just felt more like, and that he could have been doing that all on purpose. That could have been to make nerds like us be like, oh my God, do you not know anything about this industry? Very well could have been intentional. That kind of stuff doesn't land with me. I just don't like it. But this match I thought was a heck of a lot of fun. It spanned over like 2 or 3 segments, I think. The finish I thought was great. You had Kevin Owens going for the stunner, but Escobar rolling Owens up for a 2 count, and Owens saying, I gotta put this guy away if I'm gonna put him away. After this match, hits him with a super kick. After a failed attempt, a pop-up power bomb, and then that stunner. What were your thoughts on this match?
I'll tell you what, they brought it. It was very physical. It felt like they've been wrestling together forever. Oh my God. Some of these moves that they were doing to each other, the chemistry between them two is really, really good. And I hope that they revisit this again. Now, that's not to, I don't want, what I'm about to say is not to take away from anyone that faces KO, but KO's good with almost everyone in the ring. I don't think I've ever seen a bad match with KO, but the match was just good. And you know me, Escobar. I'm an Escobar like mark, whatever the worst term that you can call me when it comes to wrestling. And he played the role, like the way he sold for KO towards the end was just perfect. The match was just like I'm giving it like a 10 out of 10 because it wasn't even like you couldn't even tell there was any flaws or anything wrong,
No,
in
there were
the
2 guys
choreography
just-
between them. It was beautiful. It was like a back and forth dance with a story being told. We're going for this prize. Let's go out there and tell it. Cinema.
Refreshingly, I feel like it was not cinema. Refreshingly, I felt like it felt like pro wrestling. But before the bell
Yes.
rings, you have Logan's music hit. He comes down.
No.
But you do have the LWO with Del Toro and Wilde running off Carrillo and Garza.
Yes.
So I also liked that because the interference was addressed and taken away very, very early.
Yes.
But what I love, and I think what you were kind of alluding to too, is part of the reason Kevin Owens is so good with everybody is he's just a master of making himself look good and the other person in the ring look good. And Santos Escobar also does not need that help.
Oh my God,
so when he gets to let the training wheels off, though, in a match like this, it's a whole lot of fun. And there were some counters in here that I thought were awesome. Escobar setting up for that superplex, but Owens countering it into that package suplex of his own, I thought was an awesome spot. Escobar doing things like landing that tope suicida and doing the pose was just fantastic. Love all of that. Really, really, really good stuff. And then Logan Paul coming on after, making some quips about being Canadian and the Canucks winning the Stanley Cup. And of course, Owens knocking out Paul with a punch from that cast hand. A little less spoon feeding with the broken hand stuff today, which I appreciate because that gets really, really old when you have that going as a story through an entire tournament. But now it's just kind of something that he fights with, and I think it looks really cool when he knocks people out. I'm glad that commentary eased off. I thought commentary was great tonight, actually. There were a lot of points where Corey Graves stood out too, and he's not always the most for me, but at one point he was like, don't try this against Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens countered with that package suplex, and he's like, and that's why. I think that's the spot it was. So just good stuff all around.
Agreed.
Any thoughts on this U.S. title match?
It was coming into the match, you just knew who was going to win. So for me, it's like, I think that, Owens goes with it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see why they would even continue keeping this title on him. And it wouldn't make sense to me. I mean, this whole run didn't make sense to me. I understand why they did it, but as a wrestling fan, it wouldn't make sense for them to continue that and let Kevin Owens take this all the way into Mania, some high-profile match out there.
I was thinking that the play here was to go from Logan Paul to LA Knight because I thought the talk would be fantastic. But knowing we're getting this fatal four-way, it's really interesting because I think I was like, LA Knight versus Kevin Owens is its own awesome match with a lot of shit talking. So if they want to go that direction, I think that's the way to go.
And LA Knight, these two guys are gonna get cheered no matter what. So LA Knight could come in as the bastard child, making fun of him in his way, right? Not like a kid way, like the Paul brother does, but more of a adult style, like verbal lashing, onto Kevin Owens. But we'll see. I mean, it'll be cool, even if it's a transitional run where he only keeps this title for X amount of time, and you bring LA Knight into the mix of things for WrestleMania. So that's still pretty cool to me. I mean, let him go back and forth, man.
Agreed. I think that could be a lot of fun, and that's also the value of Kevin Owens. Like,
yeah,
you could strap him up for a year, you could strap him up for 2 weeks, and I feel like he's going to give you something really, really valuable. Will saying, I think this will be a big thing for Triple H, how to get WWE fans to enjoy in-ring work outside of Vince, who don't care about in-ring work.
Right.
We're going to talk about that with Tyler Bate in a second here, but before we do, we've got some more stuff to talk about. Where do we go? Lashley and the Street Profits. All right. I'll just say it up front, okay? Bobby Lashley. I've been asking for a suit for months, okay?
A year.
And probably a year at this point. It's been a long time I've been asking for a suit from Bobby Lashley because he looks great, and he always looks great, and the Street Profits always look great in these suits. And I know they have extra ones lying around, so all I want is a suit. And I thought, you know what? He's a heel. He's not going to send me a suit. But now he's a face. Excuse me. Inexplicably a face, okay? And he still hasn't sent me a suit. Now he's literally a good guy. Still, with these incredible suits. I'm sick out here, okay? I'm doing post shows. Still under the weather, okay? And he still won't send me a suit. I don't want to have to do this, but I'm starting to question this wrestler who I love as a person because I'm only asking for one.
Wow. That's deep. When you go after someone as a person?
Yeah.
I don't know, Kate. I think you finally reached that threshold.
I think I might have, because now you're a face in the story for no reason, really.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
We get this segment with Lashley, who said he didn't get the results he wanted in 2023, but hooking up with the Street Profits was the highlight of his year. Lashley says that their resolution is simple. They're going to fight and take everything that they deserve in 2024. Crowd starts chanting Bobby. You got Montez and Dawkins chiming in with some stuff. And then he declares for a Royal Rumble. Here's the thing about him being like, I'm so glad I paired up with these guys. He was winning until they came into the picture.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. I loved this pairing. I like them as a heel pairing. I like them as a face pairing. But he was so mad that they were losing. And then all of a sudden, all of that went away with no creative explanation. So I don't think that's great. But I do love what we get here, which is Lashley declaring for a Royal Rumble. And then, as we suspected, Karrion Kross comes out with a brunette Scarlet and Paul Ellering. And AOP attacks the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley from behind, while Karrion Kross attacks Lashley. AOP hits that super collider on the Street Profits. Kross lands his new finisher on Lashley. Kross and AOP standing tall at the end of the segment. More factions building in WWE. I love that. More
factions, yeah.
Some people have never seen pump handle DDT on the internet. They were like, he dropped him on his head. Well, yeah, no, that's the move. Everybody freaked out about the Osprey Tiger Driver. They were like, he laid him right on his head. I'm like, I think you guys don't get how much wrestlers get dropped on their head and how much that move actually lands you on your shoulder. But anyway, I think this is probably the most authentic and realistic and accessible version of Karrion Kross that they've created. No tarot cards, no overly spooky entrance. I still have my hot wife, but she doesn't seem to be totally a witch while I'm a motorcyclist. I like this. Very happy to see AOP back. As Sean said, they've been signed for like over a year. Good stuff here. What did you think about the segment with Lashley and the Street Profits and this reveal?
I was hyped for it. As soon as the countdown came on the screen, I'm like, here we go. Paul Ellering shows his face. We get AOP come out and start a beating. It's just a little crazy for me that the crowd just sounded flat when it happened. I was the crowd, and it wasn't a mic situation, because for the later matches, like the women's matches, you can clearly hear them. You can clearly hear them when Roman came out of the vehicle. There was a lot of times during the Santos match, you can hear them loud and clear. It wasn't a mic issue. But I felt like if I was like, no. And then like even while they were standing there over their carcasses and whatnot, they weren't like really behind it. I'm excited for it. I love these two guys. I felt like when they were in NXT, they were just perfect. I love big dudes who could just beat the hell out of people. Just like I love my women big that can beat the hell out of people.
Hell yeah.
Same way, man. So I hope that this rendition of them, knock on wood, does not become stagnant, doesn't just become something by the wayside, and 3 months from now we're just like, oh yeah, it's AOP. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It has happened multiple times where things just kind of fall flat, and they're just there as middle of the ground team, just taking pins or putting people, down on their shoulders for the heck of it. I hope that it's just like NXT AOP.
Yeah.
Was it the shark cage matches? Throw them in to everything that you can, because these guys are super legit, man.
I'm very excited to see them back. I think Karrion Kross, usually you see like smaller guy with bigger guys to back him up. Like Karrion Kross is not a small dude. I kind of like that. Like we don't see that in a faction a lot. Will saying I never thought WWE would have more factions than AEW, and that is kind of a fun thing that we've seen consistently in the Triple H creative eras at this point. He knows a couple of things about factions, Alex. I don't know if you know this. He was in a pretty popular one called Degeneration X. So he knows a lot about factions, and you are seeing a lot of it. And I like factions, so that's something that is for me. Love this. Like Bobby and the Street Profits. Love LWO. Love Imperium. Like I really like what we're getting, because I just think it leads to some very natural storytelling of like, you beat up my friend, I'm going to beat you up. That's just fun.
Sure.
That's just relatable. Yeah. Bad Rocket. Robot. Sorry, Bad Rocket and Bad Robot always chime in. I appreciate support for both, but
wow. She's sick. She's under the weather. She can't read.
Please forgive me. Who finished the story first? Keep getting a suit from Bobby or Cody. Also feel better. Orange Juice is your friend and love you, Alex. What do you think? Do you think I'm going to get a suit from Bobby Lashley, or will Cody finish the story first?
Unfortunately for you, Kate, I apologize for what I'm about to say, but there's a chance that Cody will finish that. So you got a better chance of me saying F it. Kate, I'm sending you a suit, and I'm going to forge the address on it as 123 Bobby Way and just send it to you from Bobby Lashley, or 123 Street Profit Ave. Okay, if that sounds better.
123 Hurt Locker.
Yeah, 123 Hurt Locker. It's just they're not listening to you. I don't know why. I hope that they finally do. Let me tell you something, and I'm talking as real as I can. If by any chance he gets a whiff of it, and he realizes this has been going on for this long, and you get a goddamn suit, I will pop so hard, dude. Like because sometimes things go through, and they'll be like, "Wait a second, this person's like been really here." I just don't think he's a Twitter person. I just, I don't think he's a social media person, to be honest. I don't see anything.
Yeah, he's probably like normal and healthy.
He's a normal dude. He still has his Nokia flip phone, like,
Listen. I was inspired by Jeremy, because Jeremy said he wanted to borrow Seth Rollins' purple suit for his wedding. And Seth Rollins actually replied to him.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, Claudio ripped it up, so I can't send it to you. But he tried. Even just an effort, Bobby Lashley. That's all I'm asking for, okay?
Yeah.
That's all I am asking for. Well, not really. It's not all I'm asking for, because I'm also asking for my internet security to be protected, okay? I'm also asking for my connection to be okay, because we don't know what's going on with all these pay-per-views, Alex, okay?
Oh.
We don't know what the TV renewal deal is going to be in AEW. And sometimes I don't want to pay $50 a pop for a bunch of pay-per-views, okay? Sometimes it's cheaper to travel to, say, Lithuania or another country.
Wow.
And, airfare and everything. It's a little bit cheaper. And if I'm taking an airline, my goodness, is it not NordVPN? Because they're the most reliable VPN in the game, and they can give you the most bang for your buck with the code Fightful.
Buying pay-per-views on NordVPN.com/Fightful is going to enhance your pay-per-view buying process. Now, one subscription to NordVPN has so many different benefits, but if you're a big pay-per-view buyer like myself, UFC, boxing, pro wrestling, all that good stuff, any combination of the three, if they're doing a fight circus or something like that, this subscription will pay for itself after 1 or 2 pay-per-view buys. Change your virtual location, pay for it at the prices that other people are paying for it in the UK, in Australia, etc., and you can get different interfaces. Maybe you don't like Peacock and you want to check out the WWE Network the way that it used to be, the way that it was designed to be, the easy navigation, so on and so forth. Maybe you want to watch AEW without commercials. Maybe there's some other overseas services that you can't subscribe to and you want access to them. NordVPN.com/Fightful gives you that with a great deal and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Even better, 24/7 tech support. So if you have trouble navigating any of it, they can help you out. Fastest VPN on the planet, NordVPN.com/Fightful.
I just want to say this. Breaking news, Triple H and Nickelback.
What?
Nickelback, he took the honorary picture with,
No way. With Chad?
Yeah, look.
See, now the AEW stands are going to be like, Creed better.
Yes, yeah.
That's what's up.
He had a song with, he did the Raw intro one time.
We're going out tonight.
Yeah.
Get down tonight. Something's up the world.
That was a dope-ass theme, man. That was my theme.
Are you one of those Creed people too?
I don't want to say I listen to them, but they are in my playlist. So I do listen to them. Sometimes I just feel like I need to be taken higher to a place where a man can see.
I hope you enjoyed your last show, Alex.
Oh, wow.
You and Cher Delaware and our own Jeremy Lambert and Bad Dude Tito, of all people, who betrayed me with this Creed.
I love me some Cher. And listen, if we do end up, I believe we are, being together in March for Revolution, we will be creeding together.
You will be creeding together?
Yeah, that's what we call it, us creeders.
Check in your super chats and get in your humper chats, please. Let me know if you are a Creed or a Nickelback fan. So I can ask Louise to ban you.
Wow.
Louise, I need you to ban Cher Delaware. I need you to ban Jeremy.
Wow.
I need you to ban Alex. And I don't think Bad
Breaking news, Alex's contract will not be renewed with a Fightful.
2024 is a crazy contract year. We're
crazy
shipping you and Jeremy off. Yeah, right.
Just had my contract freaking ripped in front of me.
Could you imagine if we didn't renew Jeremy's contract? There'd be no news. We would just be Sean Scoops. That's not true. We have a very hardworking editorial team here, but my God, we would be
very hard. Thank you for 11,000 strong.
Oh my gosh, 11,000 subscribers.
I always feel like I'm new, so thank you.
It's been like well over a year.
2 years, I know. Yeah. Maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Taylor Cannon saying, "Hey guys. Kate, I hope you feel better soon. It was good to see AOP back. I'm curious, though, in this feud, who will be the heels? It feels very much like they were just like, Bobby and the Profits are faces again. So I feel like, see, Will Chisholm gets it. The only Creed I want to see is the movie. Thank you, Will. You get it. I appreciate you. That's the way to go.
That's crazy.
Creed the movie over Creed the band. Go on a very long rant about how that era of rock killed grunge, which was my favorite thing in the whole wide world. But instead,
that's crazy.
We're gonna talk some wrestling. Do you feel the same that Lashley and Profits seem to be leaning face? And man, bringing back AOP as face is well tempting and sounds fun. I think you got to
No,
go Cross
yeah.
AOP as the heels here.
Yeah. AOP 100%, and with Cross as heels. Heels has been portraying Cross has been portraying this heel character for so long that you can't over a blink of an eye. Like there's nothing that says, "Hey, I'm a good guy," with the way that he came out tonight and beat the crap out of everyone. Unfortunately, as much as I really wanted a heel Bobby Lashley reign, I'm so
It's
sad.
true.
Like
The
there's
other
nothing
thing
more
is,
I can say, because even the Street Profits, I wanted them to be slapping people in the mouth, and like being mean to them, and we're back to dancing in cups again, I guess.
I mean, I'm for Dancing in Cup Street Profits, to be honest.
Yeah,
I love that.
me too. I want.
Pretty much rules. But I will say the other thing with Cross is I don't think you've done enough with him to elicit like heavy face reactions because he's been repackaged and he's been vulnerable so many times. So get him booed first. You can get him cheered later. I think that's the way to go here. Well, we move on to our women's match, which was awesome. I feel like we got them showing out in some really cool ways. And Io Sky defeating Michin, of course, with her patented moonsault, the over the moonsault, which is wonderful. But what I really loved is we got to see Michin get in a lot of offense on this. I hope they give her more wins to back up her presence in the title picture. That's the only thing that's kind of felt missing to me, is I would like to see her on TV getting some more W's and sticking around, because they did give her a lot of time tonight, and I thought she knocked it out of the park. That Super Styles Clash from the middle rope was so great. I loved when Io Sky, she cut her off in a lot of ways that made sense today. You had like Io Sky going for a springboard, but Michin cutting her off with that punch to the head. Sky landing a bridging suplex on Michin on the apron was insane. But there were a couple of instances where you'd see Io Sky go for something and Michin just logically turning it around on her, which I really, really love. But this does end with Michin going for a dive and Sky moving and hitting a meteor on Michin on the barricade. Sky getting Michin back in the ring and hitting a double knees. And of course, that moonsault to win. I thought this was a blast. I thought Michin looked awesome, just like her hair and everything. And her whole presentation was great. Nice to see her getting some real screen time here. I just want them to back it up with a lot more wins so that she feels like a true contender, but no complaints about the in-ring that we saw. What were your thoughts?
Lots of time, great build to the story in the ring. People were probably thinking that this was just going to be like a 2-minute match where why is Michin in there? Like it didn't make sense. Michin was putting on an offensive like juggernaut tonight. Like she was doing some stuff that I have not seen maybe in a long time out of her. The Styles Clash off the rope was pretty freaking sick. I thought someone was gonna die when she did it. Just as like, because I mean, you're in disbelief. It looks like you just broke this person's face, chest, and ribs, and they're gone. But they did great. I didn't think that it was going to be, at first I thought it was going to be a throwaway match, but the way that they just kind of like told that story, then the commercial came through. So I was like, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was just like, but as soon as that commercial was over, I was in. Like, I really was taken away and just went right into the match. And again, this is another one that you just kind of knew, that you kind of know that Michin is not going to win, but it came close. And when you're in disbelief and you're watching a really good match between two really good professionals like they were, I was just like, anything can go in this one.
Agreed. H-Ack said you can't push anyone. Here's the thing.
Push everyone. I don't care.
You can push more than one match a night. You can do multiple women's matches a night. And I got to say,
I was asking about that.
They do on Raw. Like almost the entire women's locker room is used on Raw. So I'm not asking for her to be pushed to the moon. I'm just saying get her some TV wins so that spots like this are a little bit more viable. Will saying Io versus Mia was great. That Styles Clash though, and Io winning clean was great. Yes, I appreciated that there was no interference on this so much. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, not really. I'm kind of just like, I don't. It's weird, that whole group, like what they're doing. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall. Is that how to say it? Yeah, the other shoe to
Other
come
shoe to
off, I
drop,
guess.
yeah, or fall,
So the
same
shoe to
deal.
drop, yeah. With that whole
I will
thing.
say, if they did have plans for Mercedes to come in and they did fall apart, maybe they are re-engineering things a little bit here.
Yeah. I
So
think
that's
that's
very possible.
exactly where, yeah. It hasn't felt as chaotic as it has in the past before the new year. It hasn't felt like that rift hasn't been there in the last couple weeks. So I wonder if maybe that was again reverse engineering. You know, like, okay, we're gonna have to chop this apart while we go through this now.
Creative plans change all the time.
All
Listen,
the time.
Bad Robot saying, "It's okay, Alex. One day Kate will embrace Creed with
Yes.
arms wide open." No, I will not.
Wide open.
I listened
Under
to this
the
once before.
sunlight.
Oh my goodness! Might have come back to work too soon,
That-
guys.
Should I?
Packing up again.
I have contacts in the business. I'm Sam Cardozo, the contact guy.
Wow, Cardozo, the contact.
You know, perhaps maybe we can have, you know, a little intro done by Creed for us here on Friday nights. On
Okay,
Fightful.
nope. It'll never get played. So what a waste of money.
Wow. Who said
But
I was paying for it?
if you have a performance that's not taking anybody higher, if you're not delivering, Bluechew.com, code Fightful.
Is your sex life stuck in developmental? Well, get ready for a call up with Bluechew.com and the code Fightful. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but how about this? No awkward in-person visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. But let me tell you, your package is not going to be discreet when you use Bluechew, and the code Fightful helps to give you that confidence, that performance to take you straight to the main event, if you know what I'm saying. When approved online by one of our physicians, it just arrives straight to your door. You're not going to have people nosing around with what you're doing. And right now, you get your first shipment free when you use the code Fightful. Go straight to the top. You know what I mean. Memorable performance, high spot, you know, whatever other innuendos you can think of. Bluechew.com and the code Fightful.
You had me there, Kate, for a minute.
That's my sacrifice. Okay.
That's a song title by them too.
That's, I know what I'm doing over here. Just because I like Creed doesn't mean I don't know their catalog. Unfortunately, brutal. Mia needs to not land on that face during a suicide dive. Yeah, that was rough.
Yo, for real.
Excuse me. Goodness gracious. I was doing so good today. Meet Normus asking, sup minion 690069 and other Alex, glad you're feeling better. How was SmackDown tonight? How was SmackDown, Alex?
Well, I missed it. I didn't watch any of it tonight, so I wouldn't know. I'm just here because I'm contractually obligated to be here every Friday night week.
Well, your analysis of it is not very sound then.
By the way, there was a move that I believe Michin took on the apron that looked nasty too, man. The women put on a clinic tonight, man. I was really excited to see that match and just the way it came out.
Well, later, yeah, SmackDown was really good tonight, by the way, Meet Norman.
Yeah, I agree. Tonight was a good one.
It was a good one. It was a very good one. We do move along to Paul Heyman. He always has a very specific delivery, but tonight it sounded a little bit like beat poetry. Cracked me up. He says what you would expect him to say, but eventually gets into what is everybody's favorite part, saying there's two ways he can go viral: date Taylor Swift or call out Roman Reigns. He mocks Cody about finishing the story, says Cena's coming after him, Punk's coming after him, everybody's coming after Roman Reigns because it's the best way. You have to be invited to the head of the table to sit at the head of the table. What were your thoughts on this Heyman promo?
Interesting way for them to start the promo where you had the announcers talking to him It wasn't an interviewer in the back, which was really cool to see. Whether they pre-taped this before and they kind of just tossed it up to him that way, or if this was live, it was really cool. I like the way that they did that. I'm a filmmaker, so I like little things like that, and I've worked on television, so it's really cool to see little production tidbits like that. I like the way he named everyone. By the way, welcome back, CM Punk. That was really cool. Like, just kind of like, hey, I acknowledge you. I know you're here. I'm waiting to see how much of Paul Heyman is going to be around, as now the bloodline, we're starting to see, okay, we're actually starting to see the end, hopefully, not hopefully, but the end of what's soon to be the reign of Roman Reigns. See what I did there? The reign of Roman Reigns. I'm freaking professional. So
The Roman
hopefully,
Reigns.
by the way, do you want to get some water maybe to help, or no? Are you okay? Your eyes
You
are
know what?
watering up, and I don't like that.
You know what? I just keep coughing. You know what?
Yeah, I
Rant.
know.
You rant. What else do we have to talk about? Yeah. You just rant
yeah,
about Roman Reigns. Just rant
Yeah,
about
you
it.
know what? I'll talk with the crowd here, with everyone here in the chat. What did everyone think? What is everyone's pick? Do you guys think in the chat here, while you're here with me and Kate goes to get some water? Now, we know later on in the night that we have, and we'll talk about it. You know, they announced the 4-way. It's all over the internet right now. Do you guys have any predictions on the chat real quick while we wait for Kate, of what could happen in this 4-way? Because I have my thoughts, and I am crazy. I am crazy. Wait, Kate didn't have water? No, I know. Heyman also has a mean shooting star press. Kate, I told Kate to get water, man. She didn't listen to me. Ellie and I definitely need that pain. Yes. No, you think Roman's gonna keep it? Oh man, that's gonna be crazy. And we'll talk about that later as well. Like, that little tidbit with Paul Heyman getting told, "Hey, congrats, it's gonna be a 4-way." LA Knight wins. Wow. So we got a lot of AJ's not winning this. Okay, so New York Jets fanboy says he looks like it this way. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Orton was. I 100% think that Orton. I think Orton is being set up to be the man. My thought process is that Orton might be the one, and they're making it a 4-way so that you can protect someone like a Roman. And she's back. Rambled off a little bit there. We kind of got a little bit ahead, but I just figured I'd just talk a little bit about what the audience here thought about the whole situation
I have my water.
with Mr. Romano Reigns and being thrown into the mix now with that 4-way that we'll get to a little bit later. So
We will get to that a little bit later. But first, we've got Tyler Bate debuting.
yeah,
Made me very, very happy to see against Pretty Deadly. That theme goes so hard.
you called it, by the way, 2 weeks ago.
I did. There's no helping me. Not even this water.
I know,
So
but
I
it's
reached
better
out
to
to
have it than
sponsor us.
choke and die.
I thought this was super fun for him to come back. I think having British Strong Style United on the main roster is awesome. I said it earlier, but commentary putting over their history working together in the UK,
Yes.
both as a tag team and against each other, I thought was really great. Tyler Bate, a little more in Tekker World, a little more one of mine. But I loved Bate getting the hot tag in this and cleaning house. European uppercuts and standing shooting star presses from the same guy is pretty cool stuff. They had that double T move and Prince broke it up for the pin attempt, but really, really fun stuff here. Ultimately, you have Tyler Bate winning with that Tyler Driver 97. You don't know Tyler Bate, you can expect a lot more of what you saw tonight. He's a really incredible combination of offense that is explosive, like that standing shooting star press, and being able to do really technical things like the holds, more of that European style that I love so much. And that's also, by the way, if you're not as familiar, what Pete Dunne or Butch is capable of. We just have seen him working to one specific archetype for so long that getting to see these guys bust out really explosive and fun offense, but combined with that grounded pro wrestling technical stuff that I love so much, was very happy to see this in play today. Very happy for Tyler Bate as well. He is someone who has worked his ass off his entire career. hugely fundamental in the NXT UK brand, doing really great work in the NXT brand, but never with really like a super clear path. He was doing some really fun stuff. He gave Braun Breaker one of his best, if not his best match on during his reign. But he just always does incredible work. They work together so well as a tag team. Pretty deadly, always fun dance opponents. So fun, so silly. But really impressed with what commentary did to go out of their way to tell you who these guys are. The live crowd didn't pop for it, but I think once you get a little more familiar with Tyler Bate, you're going to be happy. What did you think?
I thought it was you called it, first of all, so congrats on that. You should get a suit for that. Secondly, again, another time that the crowd was like, oh yay, but kind of just like fell flat. I was happy to see them there, and it's just like I was really happy to know that he's up on the main roster. I don't, and Sean alluded to it. We don't know if this means that has a spot or not or whatever, but the obvious call would be, hey, the Brawling Brutes kind of fell apart, so let's kind of like remove that out of the title for now and bring these two back and put them together. Tyler Bate, when you look at him for his stature, and I was looking at him in the ring with Pete Dunne Butch, and they are definitely Triple H era wrestlers, because there was no way in hell that Vinnie Mac would have had those two wrestlers in there.
Don't you mean no chance?
Yeah, there would have been no chance in hell. I like that's where you get paid the big bucks. You know what I'm saying? That you would see those two guys giving a pin to Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly seems like a team that Vinnie Mac would love all day and night.
And they should, because they rule too.
I love them too, yes. But just, Tyler got the pin, which should have been, it was the right call. And I'm with it, man. I hope that they bring these two together and let them go. I mean, you got a huge tag team division now. Put them up against AOP. We love those, David versus Goliath matches. Let them fight.
Let them fight, indeed. Shout out to Boris in the chat.
What he said? Yeah.
God bless. He's doing it for Queen Liz. It's true. It's true. The chat also calling out that they did pop for the airplane spin, which I think was really good.
That they pop, yes. So that's what I mean, that the crowd was, you can tell the crowd was there, because when the crowd wanted to get loud, they got loud. And the spin went on for a while, and they were super cool with it. I mean, they were getting up off their chairs and giving them a standing ovation over it. Where Pete Dunne was losing it on the freaking corner. You just see him going crazy, hair flying everywhere. Pretty cool visual to see these guys out there just doing their thing, man.
The English don't do tall, they do mighty. Well, if there's anything I know about the mighty, it's that the mighty don't kneel. But I will say, he wrestles bigger than his size, for sure.
Yes.
He really, really does.
He wrestles up.
Ryan Ben saying, hear that Mason and Mansoor interviews. I feel for Tyler. Oh, hearing the Mason and Mansoor interviews, you feel for Tyler. Mason and Mansoor, I gotta say, obviously we had Mansoor on Sour Graps, and he was just the best. They have been some of the most, and I feel like a lot of people in their position have had so much grace around their release and have so much gratitude for their time there, but have been expressive in the challenges that they faced. And I have so much respect for people who are able to show that much gratitude in such a challenging situation. Mansoor had his first singles match, I think, tonight at an independent show, and I just wish those guys the best. But yeah, there's a lot of people that have spoken to the creative challenges of the end of the Vince McMahon era, for sure. They do so with an incredible amount of grace, though, and I always appreciate that. 2 LT Colonel photos saying, damn it, Kate, I thought you fixed my account, shattered my dreams. And
whoa, wait a second. Let me help you with that. Hold on while you cough there. Being in the military and all. A 2nd Lieutenant Colonel photo.
Excuse me. Sorry. Shattered my dreams being seen on Overbooked. Can we name him Pete? God, I would love it if they just gave him the name Pete Dunne. It was
I know, right?
that was the only thing, was commentary was so good about referring to his history. And then they just, oh good, Alex is coming in to complain about something, which means I won't have to talk. They were so good about referring to their history, but hearing them be like, Butch and Tyler Bate, I was like, he was Pete Dunne back then.
I know.
Don't you
Yes.
start with me.
Don't change history.
So we did have a backstage as well with the Damage Control gals. We had Io Sky being shown walking backstage, and Damage Control congratulating her. Bayley said she's seen greatness in everyone this whole time. Io's era will never end. And also references the Kabuki Warriors by name, which was very cool, saying that they're going to come for a tag team gold. And they say that Bayley is going to enter the Royal Rumble, which Bianca Belair takes exception to. She comes into frame here, says Bayley's not going to win the Royal Rumble because she's going to win the Royal Rumble and she's going to get her title back herself. And Dakota Kai and Bayley say that they are going to take care of Bianca Belair, and Damage Control walk away from Bayley. So continued stuff there, but Damage Control looking more unified than it had.
Yes.
So we will see where that goes. Any thoughts on that segment?
No. Really quickly though, you were talking about puns earlier, not to veer off, but when Triple H snapped that photo and posted it, want to know what his headline was? Look at this photograph.
I can't even be mad at that. That's so good. That's so good. I can't even be mad.
That's why he's running the E.
No, that is the caption of a man in charge. That is too good.
That is
too good. Will saying, with NXT maybe getting Camille and maybe Julia, how fun will the NXT women's division be? Well, buddy, the problem is not the talent there. They've screwed up Roxanne and Perez and Tiffany Stratton booking-wise, but they have an incredible women's roster. Camille versus Blair Davenport. Put it in my veins, please. Guys, don't speculate, please, and say that people are definitely signed to places where they're not, because then I have to time out you, and then I feel mean.
Do it. I mean,
also, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. We're moving on to the main event, which is good because my voice is not great. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one more segment that I did want to talk about, which I really liked, with Ashanti the Adonis.
Yeah.
He's backstage in Nick Aldis's office. He says that he feels lost, but he's been ready and he just needs an opportunity. Nick Aldis says, I've always believed in you, which I kind of thought was funny because I was like, I don't think you've seen him wrestle yet to always believe in him, at least on the show, because he's such a new GM. But he says he's got ideas for Ashanti. And I say, good for you, because I like it when people feel bad for me and hand me things. You should all feel bad for me and just give me stuff. I prefer, rather than being like, you know what, I'm not going to be in self-pity, but I'm ready and I'm here for it. Just give me stuff. I'm built different, I guess.
I'll send you something. I'll figure it out.
Send me chats right now. Don't even say anything. Just send us money. I just want stuff for no reason. Okay?
How do I put this check through the thing here?
That's it. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
That's all I want. Oh, look. See now what a gentleman Boris is. You read my chats. Thank you. I got to contribute. See, that's what I'm talking about. Give us money.
I like this first one, but I'm not going to repeat it. There was one before that I popped, and I wasn't gonna.
I saw it. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I was trying not to no sell, so I drank water.
No. that popped me too. But yeah, we can't read that one. But it was good.
No. Yeah.
Not so bad. It needs a timeout, Louise, but just a little too cheeky to read on here.
Yeah, it was just cheeky. Yeah, cheeky.
So we move on to our main event, which of course is the triple threat. We know Roman is around, and we know that triple threats are no DQ. So let me tell you guys, how do you think this one's gonna end?
Oh my goodness. I was shocked that it ended the way it did, by the way.
I know. Who would have thought in a triple threat where there is no DQ that the bloodline would interfere in such a match? Who would have thought? And what's a bummer is it was a great match.
Yeah.
I think it was handwriting was on the wall because I think they want to do this 4-pack so that all these people that feel very strong right now can continue to feel very strong. But it would have just been nice if they could have just had some sort of finish here. Tons of fun spots. I'm not going to name that many of them because I can't talk. But we had a really fun Styles clash in here that Orton broke up. We had that crazy RKO spot right toward the end. And we had an awesome, phenomenal forearm on Orton, and Styles actually hit it, but the pin attempt went down, and LA Knight pulled the referee to the outside to break everything up. Next, you have Roman Reigns music hitting, and so, of course, everybody's distracted, and the bloodline comes up, and you're not going to believe this, interfere in the match. And you're not going to believe this, wreak havoc on everything that's happening.
Is that what happened? I took a break.
So did they, man. So did they. It's a Solo ramming. Now, I will say, as far as interference match beatdowns go, this one looks pretty good. Like, Solo Sikoa rammed the ring steps into Orton's head. You had Reigns powerbombing Styles. And I tweeted right as this was happening, I was like, Nick Aldis, you're right there. Why don't you do something about it, dummy? And he does. He does. He says to Paul Heyman, why don't you go ahead and tell your boy Roman Reigns that this is now a fatal 4-way at Royal Rumble, which I love. I love that Nick Aldis is not getting taken over by Roman Reigns, because why should he? But some typical but good stuff from Roman Reigns here. He spears Orton. We see that Solo Sikoa hits that Samoan spike on Orton. They really did a lot of damage here. But ultimately, it backfires because there's going to be a fatal 4-way against Roman Reigns. Guess what's going to happen during the fatal 4-way? The Bloodline's going to interfere. I just have this feeling that that's what's going to happen at Royal Rumble. But I appreciated... it was such a good match, and it was so much fun to watch, and then to have it end like this sucks. But I do appreciate that this time around it was for a reason. Like, it is heading into Royal Rumble, and it is an easy way to get to a fatal 4-way, and Nick Aldis doing something about it is a different thing, right? So I appreciated that about it for sure, but just not for me. I like wins and losses. The rest of this episode was so clean and nice. What did you think about our main event before Alex Pulaski comes in here and rants with us?
I thought it was fine. I thought you were gonna have you can't have Roman Reigns in the episode and just be backstage or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You knew something was gonna happen sooner than later. The beatdown was awesome. I do feel like he needs to kind of like start setting some type of power move, kind of show his dominance before being finally dethroned, because this is his last ditch effort in the movie world. You call it the third act. Something happens and changes. This is where he's starting to show his power, his dominance. This is his team, but you know that it's about to be taken down sooner than later. Love the fact that the Nick Aldis and Paul Heyman interaction happened outside of the ring with no microphones, only with the camera mic. I thought that was how the kids call it, cinema. Where you didn't need the clunkiness of having to pick up a mic and announce it to the freaking crowd. You kind of just, hey, and he has such presence when he was talking to Paul Heyman.
Yes.
Aldis kind of just like, you're not gonna, don't want to curse, but you're not gonna F around with me. He kind of like tapped him. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Oh, okay. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I love that. And told him in front of the camera mic what was going to happen. And left them with the reaction while freaking the team's inside the ring beating the crap out of everyone.
Still chaos. Yes.
And he's sitting there going, oh my God, what just happened?
Will calling out exactly what you did. Paul Heyman telling Nick, don't touch him like a child, maybe laugh so hard. And then he continued to, welcome to being a woman. Alex Pulaski joins us. Kylie saying, hi, hope y'all are well. Hanging in there, Kylie, doing my best over here. Thank you so much for the well wishes and always being so supportive. And we did have one chat that I missed earlier that is not what Alex is here to complain about, I don't think, because it said bruiserweights for life, baby. More, please. Hashtag we love Kate. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. And totally with you. Keep those bruiserweights forever. Alex, I'm gonna actually let's just read this final super chat real quick. The Mayor Pete saying, "Get well soon, everyone. Any word on Pete Dunne getting his name back? Nope. I'll complain about it every week until he does, though." And the Sheamus injury update. That I don't know, but Fightful Select may have information on. That is something that could potentially affect his contract. He is someone that's due up in 2024, but they might add time for injury. So keep tuned to Fightful Select for that. Usually if it's like just injury stuff, Sean doesn't paywall it. He'll tell you up front and then add details behind the paywall because that's just kind of gross to do with injury stuff. But as far as it affecting the contract and stuff.
And I want to add one last thing to that. It's that now that they sold to TKO, this is no longer a one person saying, yeah, let's add time, or a one person saying, no, let's cut them with the 90-day. It's no longer one person deciding. They have to go to hierarchy, and the hierarchy is going to look at, talk to their legal, talk to the HR, talk to like millions of people going to sit there and look at this and say, this is what's going to happen. So this is why these contracts, and it's so weird from what I've learned, is these contract situation in 2024 is so much different than in the past. We would hear that wrestlers just signed right back up like this before, but now they have to go through this, roll call of people, especially new people, because people have been getting let go at the office. So
and there's another player in town, right? We're seeing ramifications of that all across the board, which is good.
Yes.
This is why competition is good. But Alex Pulowski is always here to tell us what isn't good. Alex, how you doing?
I'm good. You know how it works. SmackDown was pretty well close to as good as SmackDown can get until the very end, which means it was a bad episode.
Of course, yeah.
That's how it works with me. I can't.
For those unfamiliar, if one thing sucks, then everything sucks. It's a beautiful way to live, honestly.
It's a curse that I have to bear. But I will ask you both a question. If you are a champion and there is a number one contenders match to decide who is going to face you, and you or your cohorts get involved and make the match go to a non-finish, what happens?
I'm assuming nothing, or exactly what happened.
Everybody who's already in the match gets put into a match with you.
Yes.
And then it's a match where you don't even have to get pinned to lose your title. This is a thing that they've done many, many times, so much so that it is a trope. And if I know that, most people in the chat know that, you guys know that, then guess what? Roman Reigns also knows that.
He should.
So to me, I think of Roman Reigns as being a pretty smart dude. And I don't like that he's such a dum-dum that he thinks, I know what I'll do. If this match never happens, then I don't have a challenger for the Royal Rumble. Because that makes him a dum-dum. Because that's not how it works, especially with a guy who has proven that he is not going to kowtow to you in Nick Aldis. So what I would have done would be to have, yes, you're right, you can't have Roman show up and not actually do anything, but they've done it before. They've had Roman be on the show and just do stuff backstage and never come out. They've had that happen before. So what I wanted him to do was to say to Jimmy, who has proven over and over again that he is a dum-dum, that his character is dum-dum. That's what they've written him to be. To be like, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to get a steak. I'm going to the plane. You meet me there later. While I'm gone, and Nick Aldis happens to walk into the room at the time, while I'm gone, you make sure the thing we don't want to happen doesn't happen. You got me? And then Jimmy's like, yeet. And then Roman leaves. No, and Jimmy and Solo think what they're supposed to do is destroy the main event. But that's not part at all. He had to talk to it in code. So next week, Roman shows up and he is furious with Jimmy. Not so much Solo, but Jimmy for ruining everything by doing the obvious thing. He said, Jimmy, what happens? When there's a number one contenders match, somebody gets involved. All the number one contenders get added to the match, Jimmy. How long have you been here doing this? How do you not know this? I'm like, oh, sorry, boss. Like, at least you have the dumb guy do the dumb thing and not the smart guy do the dumb thing. Also, Paul Heyman looking surprised when Nick Aldis tells him that. Paul, you know exactly what happens. Trope happens. Figure out a way to do the thing, to get all the guys in the match without making everybody who should be smart look dumb. That's my only thing. That's my nitpick for the night. Everything else seemed fine. Oh, and also I hate Logan Paul. But everything else about the show
he was not great, honestly.
He was angry. Roman was angry. He wasn't in a right state of mind. He was pissed off, and he rushed the ring.
Kylie has a very important request, which is that Kim Miss Linda, who is someone that was born this month 2 years ago, and a character of ours on our Tuesday night show and our select shows during the Sour Grap Society, can she tell me she's proud of me? I need her positive affirmations.
I'm so proud of you. You've done so many wonderful things. You're going to continue to excel in your life, personal and professional. Listen, me and everybody else here, we're so proud of you. You've done good. You did good. You're going to continue to do good, etc. Was that good?
That was excellent. That was excellent.
I hope those are prescription.
They are certainly. I searched old lady glasses on Amazon and got those.
Well, we are going to really quickly give you your Rampage rundown, as we always do, which was the Briscoes and the Hardys defeating Kip, Butcher, and Blade. Jericho and Guevara interview, moving along. The Not Jericho Appreciation Society minus Daniel Garcia interviewed before Harley Cameron interrupted and flirted with Parker.
Yeah.
I see what they're doing. Statlander and Willow defeating Kennedy Hardcastle and Notorious Mimi, who's from my neck of the woods. Very good. Stokely did the ring announcing, and it was a listen, according to Luis. The Hardys gifting Private Party their ring-worn T-shirts, and they agree to part ways. Sheeta defeats Anna Jay. Lethal and Jeff Jarrett have heated words backstage. Oh, that's nice. Team TNA maybe dying out. That wouldn't be bad. A video package from the Patriarchy, which is probably reason enough to watch Rampage alone. And your ROH Pure title, Wheeler Yuta defeating Commander with a ground hammer lock. Wow. Pure matches rule. I'm a nerd. Suck it.
Commander got to the ropes, but he'd already used all three of them.
Oh, see, I like it. I like it when people actually use the pure rules. Rules are fun. But guys, I don't have anything left to say, which is convenient because I don't have much of a voice anymore. But we do hope you have a safe and wonderful wrestling weekend. I'm going to let both my Alexes plug their S before we get out of here. Pulowski, what do you got going on?
Did you say I was going to plug my ass? No.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
S.
Oh,
S, of course, stands for stuff. Okay.
I got the spicy link ready.
Tomorrow, I'll do a collision review. Maybe one of these people will be on it with me. Monday, we'll talk about whatever's happened. CM Punk is back. He didn't really go anywhere, but he's back home in Portland, Oregon.
He's returning. He returns.
He's back. He returns. And we'll talk about that on Monday on 5 Select, on Tuesday NXT, whatever the heck's happening there. Wednesday Dynamite. Thursday nothing, thank God. Friday this again. It's a never-ending cycle.
It's a never-ending.
The never-ending story.
Don't forget we have an extra week, an extra day this year, so it's a long year this year.
Yeah, no, it's a long one.
It's a leap year. As far as for me, ladies and germs, you can find me on the threads, Alexis Cardoza, which is also linked to my Instagram. You can still find me on the X, talking nonsense and engagement farming, at _ Alexis Cardoza. Bearing my soul to you all and making sure you guys know that I appreciate every single one of you, every time you guys say something nice about me. And of course, I love you all for always supporting everything else I do. Like, I have 1,000 other projects I'm doing, and you guys are always there supporting. So thank you so much.
You can find me at Miss Kate Fabe on Twitter and TikTok, Katestagrams on Instagram, all over Fightful Select with mostly this guy next to me. And the Fightful main channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays at the Mark Order podcast. This weekend, probably just in bed watching more Bryan Danielson matches to make me feel something. That's not coughing, but
Made me feel
please,
so-
oh my God, go watch Okada Danielson from Wrestle Kingdom. It was absolutely fucking insane. I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful and safe wrestling weekend. Please, please, please stay tuned to Fightful Select. There is more coming. And of course, as always, as Boris reminds us,
Oh my
my
God.
big plan
Mhm.
every weekend. We're out of here.